Yes, hello everyone. Well, we meet again. Isn't this nice? Just this one on one thing we got going on. Okay, well, I just want to say a few things about the readings, beginning with Bukowski and moving into Allison, and then ending with law and the great philosophers, specifically Aristotle and virtue ethics. Okay? Alright, so first things first, as far as Bukowski goes, I know he takes some getting used to, but believe me, he's like, a pill that even though it's bitter to swallow, it's going to do you a lot of good. Or, he's like the dentist in that when the dentist drills down deep into your teeth, you hate the guy, but at the end you love him because why? Any guesses? Why do you love the dentist at the end of it all? Think about that. Right, because you can eat again, right? Because your teeth don't get, you know, sore, when you drink cold liquids, right? Your teeth don't burn. That's why you gotta have the root canal or the crown put on. Okay. All right. Well, ethics and religion, both those branches of the humanities are all about, fixing broken people. So when we look at all the poetry collections out there, you know, where can we read about broken people? Okay. Well, it's not going to be from the poets who are writing about Ms. Smith watering her flowers. Okay. There's really no conflict in Ms. Smith's heart unless she's a dominatrix at night. That would be interesting. I want to read that poetry collection. Okay, I want to talk about, the human heart in conflict with itself, like Faulkner says. Okay. So, yeah, Bukowski's characters, they're suffering, physically, psychologically. They have addictions of all kinds, okay? They deal with, despair, just a sense that life is hopeless and, I'm not a part of the picture and my life is meaningless and so on. These are deep existential issues that people deal with, and Bukowski writes about them very well. Okay, and this is what ethics tries to address. This is what religion tries to address. So, yeah, I know we might not like Bukowski, the poet, but try to look beyond that. Try to utilize these ethical theories on the characters or the religions on the characters. This is the exercise we're doing, okay? And at the end of it all, Bukowski's going to make us better writers, and he's going to make us better speakers, okay? Because he's a master with words, and he's going to teach us to compress and simplify our words so that we can go out and wow our bosses and just wow anybody at a coffee house or a wine tasting bar because, you can make things, your statements short and to the point, you keep it short and sweet, and wow, there's something to be said for that, and poets help us to do that. Okay, so yes, war all the time. Everything is war all the time in our lives, from birth to death. We've gone over this already. Okay, and if you don't get it by the second week, you're getting it by the third week. Trust me on that. You are getting it by the third week. Okay? Even if it means pulling teeth, I'm going to make sure that we all get it. You're going right to the dentist, too. All right? So, remember that movie, The Karate Kid? Wax on, wax off. Well, this is what we're going to be doing in this class. And in every class that I teach, we learn to wax on, wax off with, philosophy, religion, literature, and so on. And so we get good at reading poetry by actually reading poetry and discussing it. We get good at applying ethical theories to, these characters' lives over and over again over, however many weeks the class is. And this is how we get good at something, through repetition, through practice. And this ties in with virtue ethics, okay, which I'm going to get to in just a second. Because, becoming virtuous is all about, practicing, being courageous, practicing being compassionate, practicing being patient, okay? So, we got to wax on and wax off every week, and then, when the problems of life come at you, You're able to block, all the kicks and the punches that the universe throws our way. Okay? This is how it works, and we might not quite get the hang of it during weeks 1 and 2, but, right around week 3, we really kind of start to get it. Like, oh, I see what's happening here. And then, we just take off and, we don't come back because we're soaring so high. Okay? All right, so we're waxing on, waxing off, getting ready for the big, the big fight in the ring. Okay? I'll be saying more about this in a weekend wrap-up. Before that, midweek memo. Okay? Dealing with the Karate Kid. Okay? Okay, so the Allison essays. I heard a saying recently that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Think about that one. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Okay, well, the people in this essay collection, they could be people in the room who are a lot smarter than us, and if we just shut up and listen and maybe humble ourselves a bit, which isn't always easy to do, and it hasn't been easy for me to do at certain times in my life, and I still struggle with it at times, we might be able to learn something. Okay? So, every room I walk in now, I always assume that there's somebody in that room who is either smarter than me or who knows something that I don't. And if I can just keep my trap shut long enough, I might just learn something. Okay, that's a good rule to follow. Whether you walk into a Starbucks or you walk into some smoke-filled bar with a blues band playing, you might think, oh, what are these blues musicians? And I would actually know quite a bit. Trust me on that one. Okay? A lot of those guys are a lot smarter than college professors. Trust me on that one, too. Talk about just having street smarts and just common sense. The average, Joe and Jane on the street has a lot more common sense than many college professors. All right, I stand by that statement. And I can do so, because this is America. And it's definitely true. All right? So, we're going into a room every week, the Cyber Cafe, and these, people in the Allison book, they have so much to say, different life experiences, stuff I haven't experienced that, maybe you haven't experienced. We just, stop and listen and take a deep breath and really mentally digest what they're saying. We can go out and do likewise. Okay? A lot of life lessons to be learned. I delivered pizza for 12 years, and, being cool to the pizza guy was hugely influential on me when I first read that book, because I was that guy racing around with pizzas, for 8 hours, including rush hour, and I was flying and zipping through cars, and I was studying my Greek flashcards at red lights because I was in college at the time, and, I was studying vocabulary words from my English literature classes at red lights and in long traffic jams. I studied smart. I was on it, So, we all can learn something from this book. Okay, so finally, Aristotle. What do those, old Greek philosophers with beards know about the world? Isn't that, so passé? We're like 21st century human beings. We're so sophisticated. Oh my God. I'm enjoying myself right now. Well, the ancient Greeks knew quite a bit. Okay, and if you read about the nonsense on Twitter every day, like I do, for 2 minutes, but once, my IQ gets lowered by 20 points, I have to click away. The ancient Greeks were very, very intelligent, okay, and the questions they raised are still being debated today. Okay, isn't this interesting? Don't I make things fun? I bet you haven't wanted to click away because of something I said. This is good. This is what we want. Okay? All right. So, Aristotle's virtue theory, it has a counterpart in the East with Confucius, who was a virtue theorist of sorts. But, Aristotle, he didn't believe that we were born with ideas like Plato did. For Aristotle, we're like a blank slate, okay? And it's as we live in the world that things get kind of, stamped on that blank slate. Okay, picture like a chalkboard behind me with nothing written on it. When I walk in the room, the chalkboard is blank. That's what Aristotle thinks the mind is like, and the person is like when we're born. Okay, so we basically have to learn to be virtuous. You see, for Plato and Socrates before him, we've just forgotten how to be virtuous. We knew it way back when, but we've kind of have this cloud of ignorance that's over us, and we've forgotten how to be virtuous. So for Aristotle, no, we have to learn how to do it. We learn through experience, okay, not through remembering, innate ideas, that we got in the heavenly realm, But once our souls fell from heaven, we forgot all that we knew, and so life is a journey of remembering what we once knew, and that would include being virtuous. Okay, Aristotle rejects that. For Aristotle, if we want to be virtuous, we got to practice, going into battle, and not running behind a tree or a rock to hide. If we want to be patient, we have to deal with, say, a fast food person, who slides open the window and who's rude to you, who doesn't give you the correct money, and then just tells you kind of to deal with it or to F off. This will develop patience in us, right? If we want to develop compassion, we have to be around, situations that really, demand that we, feel people's, suffering and want to act on it and be there for them. We have to put ourselves in those situations, just over and over, kind of like waxing on, waxing off. That's a good way to look at Aristotle and how he thinks we can develop virtues in our lives, okay? And it's not easy. Being virtuous is very hard, okay? And we're going to fail, but with enough practice, we can kind of fly the plane. We can fly the plane, through the turbulence of life without leaning toward, the vice on this side or, the vice on this side. Instead, we're just flying the plane, reaching that golden mean, that virtue between the two extremes, okay? So if compassion is our virtue, we don't want to be full of pity. On the one hand, that's a vice, and then we have callousness on the other hand, which is another vice. We want to be compassionate, not pity, which means we're basically a doormat. You ever met doormats? I know quite a few. They'd empty out their life savings for you, even if you don't deserve it. Then you have the callous people like Beavis and Butthead. People who just kick you in the gutter when you're already down, and not even throw you a penny or two, we want to avoid callousness. So, all this takes practice. All this takes getting involved in human life, okay? And, being here and there and being everywhere, it really helps to sharpen our souls so that, we have, the virtues that can go out and, really make a difference in people's lives and in our lives too, okay? Okay, so that's just a brief 1-2 on week 2, okay? And, let's just keep moving onward and upward. And, a lot of what we're talking about, we might not really get some of this or even a lot of it until after class is over, but, eventually it will hit home. And, we'll all be able to see what we've been trying to do here. Most people do get it, by week 3. But, I know we all have different backgrounds, different interests. Some of us might not even give a rip about philosophy. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to take this class to graduate. Maybe I'm a business major or accounting. Maybe your mind works differently. Okay, I get it. That's fine. Okay, but, everybody can use a little philosophy in their lives. Everybody can know a thing or two about the ethical theories and how we can help fix broken people, like, surprise, Bukowski's characters. Okay? So, I think that's all. I'm at almost 15 minutes now, but I think I've had my say. And if you have anything to say, there's a little white box right below this video. Why don't you sound off? Okay. Okay, and we can get a little dialogue going. Okay, but if everything's been answered, great. I'll see you in week 3, and we'll keep moving, like I said, onward and upward, not only here at Doan, but also in life. And my name is Lee Tacey, and I approve of this message. We'll talk soon.